Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic, and look at this grid with loads of symbols that we don't know in it. It's a bit terrifying, especially as this is an answer to a problem I don't think anybody has ever had. And that problem might be visualized by all the people who come up to me and say, Mark, why are Sudokus limited to integers? Or can't we have fractions in them? Today, we do have fractions. And as I say, people do not come up to me and say that. It is entirely fictional. Normally, everybody who solves Sudoku is very happy with integers, but Ishi is not and has come up with a puzzle that involves non-integers. I will explain the rules in a minute. It looks absolutely fascinating and also terrifying, a bit like a dinosaur. Right, let's tell you first of all about Patreon, where obviously the monthly reward is No Trump Game, the Sudoku hunt based on playing cards. Do check it out. Puzzles are manageable, especially now, and we've even changed the rules of one which was fairly obvious, where the red lines were parity lines rather than Dutch whispers. Anyway, let's have a look at that. It's good fun. And we've also, of course, got a new gridogram video on Patreon, and connections and cryptic crossword videos there too. Even a threat that Simon might post something from his back catalogue of compiled cryptic puzzles today. Anyway, that's on Patreon. We've got our apps, and they do feature Line Sudoku and Domino Sudoku, Arrow Sudoku 2, and the Worms, which are brilliant sequential Sudokus that you can stitch together. Check out, for instance, Blobz and Marty Sears for a contrast pair of worms. They're great. Of course, starting to talk for today has got me into hiccup mode. I don't know why. That's very irritating. And I haven't yet mentioned the merchandise, which we have. Again, Marty Sears has created the Rat Run merch, so that's good fun. And then there's a number of things that you can get of ours as well. And it's all on the links under the video, including the description, well, within the description field. And we urge you to have a look. Now, the first link there is to Ground Floor by Ishi, and we're not going to actually enter any fractions, but we are going to have to understand them. So here come the rules, and get ready. Hold on to your hats. Normal Sudoku rules apply. 1 to 9 in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. Every cell has a numerical value greater than 0 and less than 10. That's true of every puzzle we do, virtually, but it matters today. The value of a cell marked with a brown floor sign, so this is the one that goes on the bottom of the cages, is always non-integer, and its digit in the cell is the value of the cell rounded down to the nearest integer. So if the value of this cell was 3.5, we would round down and put a 3 here. If it was 4.75, we'd put a 4 here. And obviously the pink cells are going to be ceiling cells. The pink markings are ceiling cells where the value is non-integer and the digit is rounded up to the nearest integer. All other cells that aren't marked with brown or pink have an integer value, and the digit matches the value. Good. Values of cells joined by a black dot are in a 1:2 ratio, so one value will be double the other. A teal diamond is a value where one is triple the other value. Adjacent cells along a green German whisper lines have values that differ by at least 5. And I mean, we could reinterpret that by at least 5.0. And I know I'm being a bit silly there. Values along an arrow sum up to the value in the attached circle. So it's all about the values. And in the pink and orange cells, these are pink and brown. These are non-integer values. I mean, it's terrifying, but we've got to start. So let's get cracking. This is mad. This is a brilliant idea by Ishi, but what do we do? Okay, I'll tell you what we do. We start here, where there are 3 connected cells by teal diamonds that therefore have values where one is triple the other in each case. And these don't have the pink and brown markings. So these are genuine cells. So this must be a 3 surrounded by a 1, 9. And this is a genuine pair of cells. I love genuine cells because they tell me when I can't have ridiculous things like 9 and 4.5 here. This can't have a value of 4.5 because it doesn't have a brown or pink marking. So that's a 1, that's a 9, this is a 2. Oh, this is a good start, actually. And now we know that this digit is 4.5. Well, no, this value is 4.5. And I'm just going to recheck the rules. The digit in this case is the value rounded up to the nearest integer. So that's a 5. So everything else in the box is 4, 6, 7, or 8. And we've got, oh, this is crazy. No, it's not. It's helpful. This is helpful. Don't be so aggressive, Mark. This cell has a number that rounds up to 4, 6, 7, or 8. A value that rounds up to that. This cell has a value that rounds down to a different digit because obviously, so it's 1 less. The digit is 1 less than that one. This is 3, 5, 6, or 7. That's my diagnosis. No, I've got it the wrong way round. That was 4.5 rounding up to 5. I've got it the wrong way round. This is... No, I am right. I am right. This is 3.5. Well, not necessarily 0.5. It doesn't really matter whether it's 0.5 or 0.4 or 0.3 or anything, because it's the same as this. This is a lower number that rounds down. I was right. 3, 5, 6, or 7. Okay. Now, this is a genuine triple black dot sequence. This either has to be 1, 2, 4 or 2, 4, 8. So that digit is 2 or 4, and 2 and 4 are definitely used in these. This digit can't be 1 by what we've done, and this digit can't be, sorry, this one can't be 2. If this was an 8, this goes 8, 4, 2. If this is a 4, things are impossible because it would go 4, 2, and then that would have to be a 1. So this isn't a 4. If it's a 1, this goes 1, 2, 4. So this is not 8. And now apparently this is a 2, 4 pair. Just by case testing it, that must be the case. So this digit can't be a 4. Now, if that was a 1 and a 2, surely we've got a problem here. The digits we would put here are 3, 4, and 5. And even though we could take a bit off because this would be rounded up to the value, we couldn't get below 11. So that's not happening. So this is an 8, and that's a 4, and this is a 2. And I think 1 is going to have to be on this arrow. No, maybe not. Could this be a 3, 5 arrow, and then you round that? Well, this would be a, yeah. If that was a 3 and this was a 5, you might round the value of this up to 5 from, say, 4.5. That would give you 9.5 on the arrow, and you'd put a 9 here rounding it down. So I don't know that there's a 1 on this pair. This black dot pair, what do I know about that? This digit by Sudoku can't be 2, 4, 8, 5, or 9, 1, 3, 6, or 7. And that has been rounded down. Oh, this is always a non-integer. And it either doubles or halves to this digit. So it must be something ending in a half. And this must be twice that digit. Otherwise, this would be a non-integer as well. Yeah, that must be right. So this is either 1.5, 3.5, 6.5, or 7.5. Well, we can rule out 6.5 or 7.5, which would put 13 or 15 here. That's either 1.5 or 3.5, and this digit is therefore either 3 or 7. And one of these is now a 3, and that digit can't be a 3, so this one can't be a 4, if I've got this theory right. Now, if we were to put 1 and 3 on those cells, which is one possible combo, surely these would be at least 5 and 6, and this arrow would be broken. It would add up to some number approaching 13. That's crazy talk. So this is 3 and 7. This is an important insight. Like, doesn't this have to be 3 as well? This is a non-integer digit with a 1 to 2 ratio with that. It must be 3.5. And I can write 3 in if I can write it in there. So I think we're going along fine. That 7 goes here. These digits don't have 7 as a possibility. And this digit now can't be 7 in the box. And it can't be 6, because that would require a 7 here. That would have a value of somewhere around 6.5, which would get rounded up here. So this is a 5. This is a 6. These are a 4-8 pair. This is actually manageable when you put aside your fears and try it. This digit is a naked 1. And these are 5 and 9. Well, we know the order. That must be 5. And that must be 9. But now I'm not happy because that's not how I expected this to work. I now think I've done something wrong, and I can't believe it. I've got it all wrong from this 3 to 7 ratio, because I just can't get used to the floor and ceiling cells in my head. Sorry. I was trying to round this 3 up to 3.5 for the value. But that's not what is happening here, where I did the right thing because I read the rules carefully. Right. We will go back all the way. We'll go back all the way to here, where I was just looking at given digits. And I thought this couldn't be 1, 2, 4, because with 1 and 2 gone, these would add up to somewhere around 12. That's still okay. 8, 4, 2. I hope I can recapitulate. What happened there? What combination of buttons did I press and everything went odd? I don't know. Anyway, 4, 2. Now, never mind about that. Do this. This digit, this was where I went wrong. I said the candidates were 1, 3, 6, and 7. And then I added to those 1.5, 3.5. I should deduct from those. 0.5, 2.5 would give 1, what? Yes, or 5 here. And it can't be 1 and 1 because they would be the same digits. It can't be 6 rounding down to 5.5, or we'd need 11 here, and 7's even worse. So it must be 3 there and 5 here. This is right. This has a value of 2.5, that's 5. I still get to write a 3 here because its value is 2.5. But now I get to say this is not 3 or 5. So this is 7 or 8. I was careful when I was measuring that relationship earlier. It was here I wasn't as careful. I am very lucky, by the way, that this broke so quickly in box 8, or I could have been stumbling around like a lunatic for ages. Okay, that digit goes here in box 9. These are a set, and that digit is 1 or 9. Now, I don't see how that can be 9. This is no longer a naked single or anything like it. This is 1, 6, or 7 now. But if this was 9, even rounding that down to something like 8.5, you're up to 10.5 there with another digit to come. You can't keep it down to a good number there. So that's a 1. This is a 6, 7 pair, and that's a 9. And now we can value this 9 as 9.5. I'm just choosing and a half as the non-integer fraction. It could be 9.333 or 9.9179. It just doesn't matter. for the purposes. This will have the same fraction coming after the decimal point. Except the decimal point that comes after here will be a 0, like the big digit will be a 0, because that's getting rounded up to 1. So effectively, we treat that as a 0, plus 2 plus 7 gives us this 9. And let's just do that in halves. Half plus 7 plus 2 is 9.5, which gets rounded down to a 9. That is correct. Right, 7 there makes this a 6, makes this a 7, and this a 6. And we've got a 4-8 pair on the right. Now we've got a 2-9 pair. This is a genuine black dot, so that can't be 9. That's 2. This is 1 or 4. We've got a 1, 4, 6 triple along this row, and a 5, 7, 8 triple here, and I doubt that we can squeeze any more juice out of these bottom 3 rows for now. I'm going to have to look up the grid, which is a bit terrifying, if I'm honest. This is not a genuine green dot, a green teal diamond, not green dot, because this is a fake out digit. Ugh. Okay, I'm skating away from that. This is a genuine black dot. No, it's not. That is a fake out digit. Why am I so blind suddenly? This is a green line digit. It's not a useful one. Oh, this might be useful. If this was low, this digit is 3 or 4. And that represents a higher value than 3 or 4. Well, that's very tricky. You can't put a 4 in here, because that would have to be more than 9. Right, I think this, I'm considering whether this can be a 3, and it's a real struggle, because its value is something like 3.5. That could, no, that can't, you can't even put an 8 there, because the difference will be 4.5. That's not 5. Even if this was worth 3.01, the difference would not be 5. So that is not low. This is definitely high. I mean, that is worth learning, and that's low because these are ordinarily connected. Now, the things I normally tell you about green lines are you can't put 5 on them. They alternate between higher than 5 and lower than 5 to maintain the difference. And 4s and 6s are difficult to place because then they only have one possible neighbor. Now, none of that's true where we get these cells with the markings in, but this is still true here. This is a low digit. And this one is, well, could it be a 5? This is being rounded down. So it's 5, it could be 5 point something. This could be a 5 vis-a-vis the relationship with that, which is getting rounded up to perhaps 1. But actually it couldn't be a 5 as regards this, because you can't get the value down to 4 or less. In fact, so this is 6, 8, or 9. If it was 6, where the actual the digit 6 would have a value of, say, 6.5, this would have to be a 1. But this could be 1.5 rounded up to a 2. So 6 can't be ruled out there. That's really annoying. 4 can be ruled out here because these two can't be 9s. So that's 1 or 2. It can't be 3 by Sudoku. I mean, that's taken me a ridiculous length of time to even get to that feeble little conclusion. Right. I learned something very good about black dots where the black dot connects an integer to a non-integer, and that is that the integer is always double the non-integer. So this digit is worth something and a half, and it's been rounded up. But we're going to double that digit to get to this. So let's ignore 9 and 8. This is either 3.5, 2.5, 1.5, or a half, giving an odd digit here, which can't be 3 or 9, and must be 7, 5. I would have said 1, but if we were to have a 1 there, this would be 1 being a rounding of 0.5. So this is either 5 or 7. And this value is 2.5 or 3.5 rounded up to a 3 or a 4. So the value here is 2.5 or 3.5. Now the ratio to this, which is non-integer, means we're dividing by 2.5 by 2 or 3.5 by 2 to get to the number here, and then rounding that up. 2.5 divided by 2 is 1.75. 3.5 divided by 2 is, oh, I thought that's 1.75. 2.5 divided by 2 is 1.25. 3.5 divided by 2 is 1.75. We're rounding 1 point something up to get a 2 here. And that must be what this digit is. That's so weird. It doesn't tell me whether this is 3 or 4, although that will then tell me whether this is 5 or 7. Now, I'm going to get excited about these places where I now know that a black dot connects an odd integer with, well, with a number that's not, that's been rounded in some way. So this digit is 1, 5, 7, or 9, an odd integer, but it can't be, it can't be 1, because this digit would be a half, and actually it would have been rounded down to a 0. That's no good. If that was a 5, this would be worth 2.5 and would be rounded down to 2. That's no good. So this is a, oh, if it was a 7, it would be 3.5, and we'd round this down to 3, and that doesn't work. So this is a 9, rounding the 4.5 down to 4. And over here, it's the same deal all over again. We have 1, 3, 5, or 7 here, but we've just worked out 1 won't work at all. 3 would mean this was 1.5, rounding down to 1, and these would add up to 6, and we'd put a 6 there. Well, that's certainly possible. 5 would be 2.5, rounding down to 2. We can't use that. 7 would be 3.5, rounding down to 3, and these would add up to 8, and we'd get an 8 there. So those are all possible, but there is a 3 in one of those cells. And this cell now sees 1, 2, a 3 in one of those cells, and a 4 here. And this digit is 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, which has been rounded up from something. Well, it doesn't have to be half anymore, because there's no integer in this set. Oh, it's so confusing, man. Okay, I'm coming up here. This is an integer, and this is not. So this must be the number that we divide by 3 to get that. I'll come back to these. I mean, I can foresee all sorts of problems with these, because I think that not only could this be a sequence of doubling going up or down, I actually think it could be a bounce down to a number and back up, because those two could be the same number represented differently. Ugh. Oh, horrible. Right, I'm coming to this. That's what I said I would do. Now, we divide something here by 3 to get a number that here we then round up. So if we were doing 8 divided by 3 must be 2 point something. We'd round it up to 3, but we can't put a 3 here because we've got a 3 in one of those cells. So by the same token, we can't use 7 in this cell. We can't use 6 because that would be an integer. So we're down to 5, 2, or 1. If this was a 1, this would be a third. No, I've got it all wrong. I thought this was an integer, and I've just completely missed the pink sign in it. Bother. Missed it like a fool. This is an integer. Let's do that one instead. 1, 3, 4, 8, or 9 by Sudoku. We can rule out 9 and 3 because if we divide them, this becomes an integer, which it's not. And we must divide this integer into a number that has a fraction. If that was a 1, this would be a 1 rounded down to 0. And we're not allowed any zeros. That's either a 4 and this is rounded down to 1, or that's an 8 and this is rounded down to 2. And maybe that's all I can do. We've got another ratio here that I should like. This is an odd number that is not 5 or 7. This is 1, 3, or 9. If we were to put a 1 there, this would be a half rounded down to 0. That's no good. So we're either putting 3 here and 1 here, or 9 here and 4 here. For 1.5 or 4.5 as this digit. Now, has something got ruled out there? 9, 4 would make that 8, 3, 1, and that wouldn't work. Yeah, it would work. That would be a 2. That would be fine. 3, 1 would make that 4, 8, 9. Is this unable to be a 4? If that was a 4, this would be 1, 3, and that would break. There we go. That's an 8. That's a 2. And it's ridiculous how long every step here takes me, but I have to be so careful because this just doesn't play well with my brain. Right, stick with me, people, stick with me. We've used a 3 in one of these cells. This pair, surely there's a low digit here. And what is going on with all of these? They're horrible. When they're 3 funky fraction cells connected together, my mind is getting blown. Okay, let's try it here. That had real trouble being low because of its brown sign. This one might have less trouble being low. Oh, let's start coloring this yellow and red for high and low. Now, when we get to here, we can't have a 5, so I feel I can call it lower than 5 as a value. It's a digit that has been rounded down. What I'm wondering is, can I get away with writing a 3 or a 4, or maybe even a 5 into this cell and calling it low? The digit has been rounded up. So if this was 3 or 4, its value... No, let's look at this cell. This sees 9 and 8. Actually, it also sees 2 and 3. This is in a position where I can use my monogamous digit rule to rule out 6 and 4, because you couldn't make up those. So this can't be 9, 3, 5, 2, 8, 6, or 4. This is 1 or 7. If it was 7, that would be 1 or 2, and it can't be. Perfect. Right. That's 1. These are high. They're from... This sees 7 and 8, so that's 6 or 9. This is 6, 7, or 8. I don't know which. That makes this 1, 2, or 3, but it can't be 3. So 1 or 2. We're dealing in normal numbers so far along this green line. This is where it gets... Oh, that 1's gorgeous. That puts a 2 here. And that is 2. So this cell has to have a value of more than 7. Or 7 or more. And it can't then get rounded down to 6. So we've got an 8 or a 9 there. This is not 9, so it's 7 or 8. And now this. I can't write a 5 into it. I'm going to write 6, 7, or 8 in. There's no way 4 can get written in there. Is there? No, 4.5. wouldn't allow that to be an integer 1. So this is 6, 7, or 8 with an actual value of something like 6.5, 7.5, or 8.5. This must be low. You can't go up from 6.01, so this is low. But it's not a 1 or a 2. If I was to put a 5 in that, which might have a value of as little as 4.01, that would have to have a value of 9.01 or more, and you could never write an 8 in. So I can't write a 4 in here. And this digit, is that right? Is that right? No, it's that I can't write a 5 in. I think I can write a 3 or a 4. But what happens if this is 4? If this digit is 4, the value of the cell is 3.5. Well, that could be 8.5, and we could be putting an 8 in. So 3 is possible there. That's really, really, really annoying. Just because it can't be simply ruled out. I mean, I shouldn't expect to get spoon-fed, but my goodness, I need it a bit today. Right, let's just have a look up here. This digit is not 4. So that digit is where 4, the digit, goes in the column. That's quite interesting. Hadn't seen that coming. Now, the actual value here is somewhere between 4.01 and 4.99. This is either double or half that. So if it was half it, we'd be talking about somewhere between just over 2 and just under 2.5. Rounded up to a 3. If we were talking about doubling this value from 4.01 to 4.99, we'd be going up to somewhere between 8 and just under 10, 8 point something or 9 point something, rounded up to a 9. It's got to be. And now I need a 4 in one of those two cells. I haven't found anywhere for a 5 in this column, but I have not solved this clue. I haven't even begun to. Well, no, that's not fair. I have begun to. Much good may it do me. This digit is low. How low? If that was 8.9, no, 8 point, no, this could be 9.9. I don't know. This is low, isn't it? If that was 8.9 or 9.9, could I write a 5 in here? I think I probably could. If this had a value of 4.4 and this had a value of 8.8, yeah, I could put a 5 in here. Oh, so confusing. Everything about this is utterly confusing, if I'm honest. Oh, is there a knock-on effect? If that's a 3, this is a 4. That has to be an 8, if that occurs. Then we get 7, 6. Oh, look, I've got an 8 looking at that cell. I hadn't noticed that. Now, is that significant here? No, I don't think it is. Yes, it is. Look, this can't be a 6 because 6, 1 there would break this cell, apparently. That's good. So this is a 7. I mean, I'll take any digit I can find in this bloomin' puzzle because it's so confusing. Right, got a 7 there. This is 3, 5, or 9 by Sudoku. 7, this can't be 7. 7, 9, 4, 3. I just don't know which of these is higher in this horrible 1/3 relationship pairing. I should have coloured those blue. No, orange for the high and blue for the low. Never mind, done it now. Doesn't really affect things. There is a 2 in one of those two cells. That's okay. Maybe I can work off that. That's Sudoku getting me that. Right. If this is a 2, its value has been rounded down to 2. So it's about 2.0 up to 2.9. Halved? No, not halved, because if I'd written a 2 there, I'd have to write a 1 here. And then this couldn't be 1, 2, 3, or 4, even though I'd be multiplying 1 point something by, oh, but maybe if I then multiplied it by 1.8 by 3. Oh, I was so mad. I could get to a 5, couldn't I? Oh, I'm so bad at some of the maths. Vulgar fractions. They're feeling very vulgar today. Am I really going to have to approach this sequence? Look, if they were doubling in ascending or descending order without using 1 or 2, we'd begin with a minimum of a digit that rounded down to a 3. Well, no, we'd begin with a minimum of a digit that rounded up to 3. But if they were a sequence, this has to be the highest one, surely. We can't double up from numbers that start at 4 point something. We'd get to 8 point something, 16 point something. So if it's a sequence of increasing values, it's going downwards. And it might start here with a 3, which would have to be a number rounded down from about 3.1. Well, if you double that, you get 6.2 and then 12.4, and that's far too high. So this is not an ascending or descending sequence. It must be a bouncing sequence, and these two are the same digit, where this one is the representation of that digit in a pink cell, which is always one higher than the representation of it in a brown cell. So this is 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8, and these are the same digit. And then they're either doubling or halving to this one in the middle. And that digit is going to be something around 4.5, 5.5, 6.5, 7.5, 8.5. Which could halve to, well, we can't write a 2 in there. This could be anything. This could be anything that's not a 1. It's absolutely blinking useless. Right, one of these digits is a 1 by Sudoku. Let's fall back on some grim certainties. I'm missing some blindingly obvious bit of Sudoku or something here. I don't know what it is. I've just got to keep scrunching around till I find it, I think. 6 and 8. 8 must be in one of those two cells by Sudoku in box 2. So 8 is in one of those 3. It feels remarkably unlikely to be there. But maybe you could put 8 there, 1 there, and 9 there. Okay, that's no good. 2, 7, 1. There's a 2 in one of these two cells. Wow. I'm sorry. I know I'm incredibly inadequate at this, but we are where we are. I don't want to think about these. I mean, it's something to have got that they are consecutive digits. effectively linked by a white dot for in some peculiar way. One of them's even, actually, and that's even, and that's even. It's quite interesting. No, okay, let's have a look here. If I wrote a 2 in here, that would be something from one point something rounded up. You'd have to multiply that by 3 to get to this cell. And I'm thinking you could put 5 or 6 in this cell because you're rounding up again. 2 there, 5 or 6 there. But then you halve that. You can't double it from this direction. Let's just check that you can't halve do a third of 2 point something. Actually, you probably can and get a 1 here. Ah, so confusing. 3 is in one of those cells. Oh, that can't be 3. That's quite interesting. For this to be 5, that has to be 9, doesn't it? If this is 5, it's 4 point something. And then this could be 9 point something rounded down. Yeah, so if that's 5, that's 9. Then that's 6 and that's 3. And this would be 9 as well. Because 5 would see that cell and 3 would see it. And if that was 6, this would be 6. We'd have 5, 9, 6 here, 4, 2, a 3 over there. These would be selected from 1, 7, 8. Obviously, that would be the 7 or 8. This would be the 1. Okay, alternatively, this is a 1, in which case this is 3 and 7, and that's 8. That's a 1, that's a 1. So now we've got 4, 3, 7, 9, 8, 1. These would be 2, 5, 6. And 5, 6, since 2 is either there or there, 5, 6 would either have to have a black dot ratio between numbers that vary between 4.0 and 7. They can't. Or a green dot ratio where it's even more impossible. So that is my impossible scenario. And that was based on this being a 1. We get 3, 7 here. That's an 8 for the addition. That 1 puts a 1 there, which puts a 1 there. And these 2, 5, 6 are impossible. So this is not a 1. This is a 5. That is a 9. Here we go. We can do some work. 6, 3, 9 there. 6 not here. So this is a 7, 8 pair, and this is 6. Now this can't be 5 or 6. It's quite big. 7, 8, or 9. This is 1 less than that. We worked that out before. And this is going to have to be half of this number. It can't be double it anymore. And this number is somewhere between 6.01 and 8.01, getting halved down to somewhere between 3.01 and 4.01, rounded up to 3 or 4. No, to 4 or 5. And the other digit from 4 or 5 is in one of these, which is either a 3, 5 or a 4, 7 pair. So that digit can't be 4 anymore because 4 and 5 have now been used here. Let's assume I'm right with these calculations. That makes this a 4, and I think that makes this an 8. This is now worth about 3.5. This can be worth 8.5. That's a 7. In this box, I have to put an 8 and a 1, 3 pair. In this column, I need a 5. This column, I need a 2 and a 7. In this row, I can't believe this is not done yet. One of those is a 3. That can't be 9 anymore, so this can't be 8 up here. It also can't be 7, so that's a 6. And this is a 7. So this is a number between 6 and 7, and we halve it to get a number between 3 and 3.5, which we round up to 4. So that's a 3. This is a 5. That's a 1, 3, 9. I really hope this is right now. This is a 1, 8 pair. That 7 makes this a 3, which goes with a 1 on the black dot. And this is 8 and 1. This circle is now 6, 4.5 plus 1.5. That's a 7. That 1 sees this cell and makes it a 4. These bad boys are now 2, 5, and 8. And I don't even want to try and work it out. The middle one is 5 or 8. They're just terrifying, just as these were, but at least we got through those. And they give us 8, 4 down here. Now, I've got a 1, 4 pair at the top of this column, and they're done by Sudoku. I've got a 7, 6 up here that are not done by Sudoku, and a 3, 5, 9 here that also form a chocolate teapot triple. Right, in this row, that is not 4, so 4 goes here. I haven't looked at this blooming arrow yet because it's all fractions, all hideous, all horrible, all the time. Maybe I can do more Sudoku before I get there. I can't, of course. 2, 4, 6, 1, 8, 5. That is 3, 7, or 9. 2, 4, 6, 1, or 3. 5, 7, 8, or 9 there. But this can't be 4, 3, or 1. So let's start putting in 2, 5, 6. But we've got to add these two numbers, even though they are digits rounded down. So that's 4 point something. If we added 5 point something, we'd go up to 10 point something, and we'd be meant to round it up here. That's no good. So this is a 2 in the corner. And now these round, well, there's some variability actually, isn't there? If they were 4.9 and 2.9, that would be 7.8 rounded up to 8. But if they're 4.2 and 2.2, that's 6.4 rounded up to 7. Oh, we've had 7, so this is an 8. All right, sorry. Anyway, by Sudoku, 7, 6, 7, 2. This is 5 or 9, but we've got a 9 in the column, so that's 5. This becomes 3. This is 9. This is a 1 on the German whisper. That's a 6. This one sees a 2. I'm not going to have to work these out, thank goodness. 8 sees that cell, so that's 5. That's 8. I mean, I now am not afraid to work them out. That, say, this is rounded down to 8 point something. So this is something like 4.4. Let's say it was 4.5, rounded up to 5. That's, well, no, let's say it's 4.49, and that's just under 9, doubled up, rounded down to 8. And then you divide 4.5-ish by 3, and you get 1.5 rounded up to 2. So it does all make sense, thank the Lord. And there we go. That is the solution to ground floor. And I did not get in on the ground floor of that one, but I have done it right in the end. I hope there weren't any logic lacunae in the middle, because that would be embarrassing, but it's certainly not impossible in what I found a very complex puzzle. I hope you enjoyed it. Do shout out Ishi for creating that in the comments, because I think she deserves it. It's brilliantly clever. And I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.